Hey, it's Heather from A Craft's Tale, and today we're going to be starting the Harry Potter project that I was talking about. And I'm going to be sharing all the processes with you. Now, I've gotten permission from Wayward Pineapple Creations to use her Harry Potter baby blanket as a base for my Harry Potter crest that we're going to be starting on today. Now, this is going to be the first time that I'm doing a graph, but I think I can figure it out. And I'm really excited to crochet this along with you all and have you learn how to read them too. Now, I'm not allowed to directly crochet this entire pattern on video for you, but I can show you how to read a graph. If you're interested in any of her other crochet patterns, or this one, I can link them in the description below and give her full credit for the free pattern that she said I could use. Okay, first of all, on the graph, I have cut out the parts that I'm going to use to form the Harry Potter house crest. And the first thing I'm going to do is count across the bottom squares here, so that I'll know how wide across to chain for my very bottom row of the Harry Potter crest. I've also noticed that the squares come in even bigger squares, as indicated throughout the whole pattern, that are in clumps of 5. So really, all I need to do is count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on to figure out how many across. I, like Lyrical, tend to use Red Heart yarn, although we have found a new yarn, to us at least, from Hobby Lobby called I Love This Yarn. It's a little bit softer, it's a little bit more expensive, but we just recently found it on sale, which was amazing. But to start off our row with the chains, I'm going to use black. Then I have a few rows of saffron, which is the one I found for the gold in my pattern. So, once again, Red Heart yarn. Medium worst of 4 on each one. You can always look for how thick they are on the medium, usually on the side. They will tell you lots of useful information all about the yarn. Alright, let's get going. I also would like to bring up ahead of time the Granny Square book. I have 2 ideas that I need your help with. Now, once I make the emblem for the crest for the Harry Potter houses, I'm going to surround it with granny squares of the house colors. And my first original idea was to pick out a granny square for each house, like a different one, and then make that granny square just the 2 colors of the house. But then, it's on page 100, Lyrical found this, which is 4 colors. So I thought I could always do the 4 main colors of the houses, surround it with like silver or black, or pick a color each time. That's one of the complementary colors maybe, because you know Ravenclaw's blue and bronze, and Gryffindor's gold and red, and Slytherin is silver and green, and Hufflepuff is gold and black. Yeah, I almost forgot. Anyway, so what she would be talking about is making this red, green, blue, and black, and then maybe putting a silver around this one, a bronze around the next one, a gold around another one, and anyway, just making these to be the squares. Or should I actually pick out separate squares, or 1 square for each house, and make the house that square? Oops, didn't mean to hit the camera. Anyway, leave your professional opinions, or whatever you want to call them, in the comments below. So, 4 different squares for 4 different houses, or 1 square that has all 4 houses, or maybe even a combo of both ideas. Just let me know. Now, like Lyrical, I'll start off with a slip stitch, and I will tell you right now, I dyed my hair recently, so if I have blue nails and hands, that is why. Yep, it happens. Start off with my slip stitch. And I deducted, counting twice across and with the squares, that I need to chain 120. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 across with my stitches looks like this. Now, when I have a lot of stitches to do, I like to make a little pattern in my head, or I very easily lose count. Like this is 10. So then I would start over in my head and count another 10. But then at the end of that, announce it's 20. A little confusing to some people, but I guess it works. Or even I've been known to go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then crochet them, and then go 5 or 10, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. 15, and just count it in intervals of 5 or 10. Whatever makes me not lose track. But if I crochet another 10, it'll be 20. So in my brain, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Which, that is indeed 20 stitches. Alright, like I said, slightly confusing unless you're me, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and chain 120 and show you the extremely long outcome of that. And here we've got our, starting right here, 120 stitches. And that's the last stitch on 120 right there. Alright, so at the end of our 120 stitches, we are going to add one more. And find not the one we just pulled it through, but the second one from the added last loop. To start single crocheting our way back to oblivion. Kind of wish I could work with an easier color than black because this is really hard to see. And see, it's starting to make our first row. We're going to continue that back across 3 times. Alright, I've gotten to a place where I have 2.5 rows, meaning I have 54 stitches to the middle where I need to add my yellow, and 54 out this way. But I'm on stitch number 50, and I'm going to be tying in my yellow yarn so that I stitch around it 4 stitches ahead. And I'm going to be placing that there, making my 4 stitches. Now, you may know a better way to tie it in. You may not think it's a good way to do it, but it's one of the ways I was taught, so I'm sharing it with you. If you have a better way to tie in the yarn, just let me know in the comments what you've learned. I forget that on this 4th stitch, I want to pull through the yellow one, because these next 2 stitches are going to be yellow. 1, 2. Yeah, man. You have a tail. Got our 2 stitches. And you've got the black I'm about to pick up. Alright, I've continued on a ways where we've got our, 54 stitches. We're going to add 54 more to this end, and we've got our 2 yellow in the middle. Probably should have picked up the black one more over, but I think I can tie that in. See, you're learning graphs along with me, so if I make mistakes, well, your advice is greatly appreciated. Anyway, I thought I would point in, I have left the yellow yarn attached on the last stitch, because at that exact place in the next row over, we are going to add 2 more yellow stitches, and I don't see the point of having to tie it back in again. So I didn't cut this one. Now, I know a lot of graphs use little baubles of yarn, which are pretty much just little balls that you can use depending on how much color you'll need. So as I go along with this graph, you'll probably see me learn some techniques from that. Or if I just have tiny places to put certain colors. We'll see as we go. Right, I'm done. It looks like 5, 6 rows, because I know I did 2 up. 2, 3, 4. Yep, about 5. And I've started adding in the base of the Hogwarts symbol. Now I'm starting to understand why people make little bundles of yarn, because these 2, the yellow and the black, have been tangling this whole adventure. But I am on row 5. We have the bottom of the crest here. I do want to confess that I had to redo this whole thing earlier because something wasn't lining up in the middle. You see how when and if I hold this in half, the yellow ends up in the middle? Well, I had 120 stitches instead of 110. Because when I was counting in the graph, I counted 1 or 2 squares too many. And didn't take into account that 55 plus 55 was 110, not 120. But it's all better now. I have 55, well, starting in the middle, I have 55 on each side now. And in about 2 weeks, I'll show you what progress I've made with this. But so far, we've started 5 rows, changed color, and found out why we made little baubles of yarn. Alrighty. That's the end of our learning to follow graphs session today. Please remember that I need an opinion if you want to input on it about the Granny Square book. Should I do Hogwarts colors in one of each of the patterns maybe that you see here? Like Slytherin in that one, Gryffindor in that one. You know, pick out a different pattern each thing. Or do I go to that one that has all 4 in it? Let's see if I find it again fast. There it is. Because then I could put red, green, blue, and yellow and make a whole Gryffindor patch. Or should I do a little bit of each one? Anyway, leave your comment in the Leave your opinion in the comments, and I'll be happy to comment back to them and see what we come up with. Well, I do believe next week is Lyrical Moonraven's turn to do some crocheting. I can't wait to see what she's going to start on. But by the time you see this next, it should hopefully look a little more like the Hogwarts emblem and not like just a row of black with some yellow. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see what Lyrical's got up her sleeve for next week. And as always, we'll craft at you later. Bye.